really only have to get it warm because everything is basically cooked. So, and it's only a 3-ingredient meal, depending on if you want to add things to it or garnish it at the end. I'm getting a text message and I'm wondering if it's from Miss Jessie or somebody telling me something. So please hold. I'll look at it in a second, but let me show you the ingredients first. So what you need to make this meal, which I would basically call like a semi-homemade tortilla soup, with or without chicken. I choose to do it with chicken. So you would start with a jar of this Trader Joe's tomato-less corn salsa, a box of the tomato soup. I prefer to get like the organic roasted red pepper one for a little extra flavor. And usually I pick the low sodium version because, you know, you're going to want to add different seasonings and stuff in. And it's better to start with a base that's already low in sodium. And to add chicken, if you want to be really lazy, which I enjoy doing, rotisserie chicken from the market. And so that, if you get it from one of the big box stores, whichever one you prefer, is only $5. Hold on a second. Let's see. Okay. Had to look at the phone for a sec. Okay. So we get started. I like to do it the easiest way possible because life is already hard enough. And sometimes when you want something easy, you just want something easy. So what I do is I pulled out Yield crock pot, because for right now I'm going to like kind of show you how to put this together, but you can very much dump this all in a crock pot, like either as soon as you get home from work or depending on what kind of shift. This is kind of wobbly for a second. This is my smallest crock pot just because I wanted to take up less room on the counter, but you can start with this and you can dump it in the crock pot when you get home from work, depending on what time you get home, or you could put it in before you go to work if you have a timer, because like I said, it really only just needs to get hot. So I already started pouring some of the soup in there so it could start to get warm, but you basically want to pour this whole box in there. Just go for it. Get it going. That's the crock sizzling because, like I said, I already started some of it so it can get hot. But I think I will have some later, maybe with a little bit of grilled cheese sandwich, because who doesn't love tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwich? And I like to put a little water in it just for good measure, and also so you don't waste any of the delicious soup that's in there, because times is hard. I don't know if people notice. And inflation is disrespectful to everything. So waste not, want not. We want to use all our stuff. So get that in there. And then depending on how spicy you want it, because this is quite spicy, it actually says it's a corn and chile tomato-less salsa. So it is pretty spicy. I might just add like a little bit of it so I can use the rest for like something else another day or something like that. So, oops, it was fighting me. So you're going to add most of this in there. Let me grab a spoon. Hold up. Can you grab a spoon and just I want to put like 3/4 of it in there. We eyeball almost everything in this kitchen unless we're baking, which we don't do often, because not only do I do things semi-homemade, but when I'm actually cooking, I like to let the ancestors guide me. And so when the ancestors say stop, I stop. When they say put a little more, like I'm feeling in my spirit right now, I put a little more. So it just depends on how I'm feeling and what's the taste for your family. Because even though I said the child won't eat any of this, she might try it, because usually she's pretty good at trying things, which I like about her. So if I make it too spicy, like the level of spice that I like, then she might not try any. And what I was actually going to say is I probably won't do the fancy version of when I cook things for other people, because I'm probably going to be the only one eating this. But I actually might have some friends come over who are coming over for soup on Sunday. And so I might serve this as an extra soup. The main part of the menu is a baked potato soup is what's going to happen. But they might want something like that's a little less creamy. Yes, my child. I'm going to get your grilled cheese sandwich in a minute, okay? You want to say hi to the people on Zoom? You want to say hi? They can't really see you. Say hi.
Hi.
This is the little one that's waiting for her grilled cheese sandwich, so we'll get that for her soon, okay? Why are you looking at me? Go be great. Okay. So we got that in there.
Look at me.
And then I'm just looking for something to rest the spoon on. Because like I was saying, when I'm cooking and other people are going to eat it, I like to use like a tasting spoon and not dig my own spoon back in there, so I'm not transferring all my cooties into whatever dish I'm cooking because, maybe people don't want to eat Jenna cookies with their meal. So, all right, quick break from motherhood. We're going to put this grilled cheese sandwich, which usually I will make the grilled cheese sandwiches from scratch because that's easy. It's just cheese and bread and butter. But me and the kid were at a big box store today, and they had these frozen grilled cheese sandwiches, and I decided to try it to make my life easier. And she already actually had one before bath time, and they were pretty good. So we're going to put another one in the air fryer. Hopefully this air fryer isn't too loud for the video. Y'all let me know. Okay. So quick pause for motherhood real quick, and now we're back. Move the child's plate over. It's also helpful to give me more counter space on the stove because if I was cooking this on the stove instead of just in the crock pot, I wouldn't have any room to put stuff on the stove to give me extra counter space. So I can try to lead it down, but this is not rocket science. If you want to add the chicken in, which the first time I ever saw them do this at a store at Trader Joe's, they actually used just canned chicken. So you can do that too. But since I was already at a big box store and I like the rotisserie chicken to use for other things, I decided to get a whole one. So I'm just going to take my big sharp knife. I'm going to cut it down the middle, like a rotisserie chicken or a chicken or whatever is kind of shaped like a heart. I don't want to lean it too far because I don't want to lose that delicious chicken juice that's in the bottom of there. Because another thing you can do with rotisserie chicken, and I probably will do with this chicken, is use it to either make pho, which is a Vietnamese soup for those that don't know, or I might just use the carcass to make stock. But if you look at it here, you can see how that looks like kind of like a heart. I'm just going to cut that down the middle and get some of the breast meat to put in the soup. And don't judge me. Yes, both of these legs are gone. At least they made it out of the parking lot this time. I waited until I got home to eat them, and they were delicious. So we're going to get some of this breast meat. Like I said, I'm just going to kind of cut it down the middle. I'm not especially great at carving, but all we want is to get some of the meat. We're not standing on ceremony. It doesn't have to be fancy. Child, are you okay? Okay. Thought she was crying. Everything's fine. Okay, have a seat. Your sandwich should be done soon. So I'm just tearing it apart with my hands, which are clean. Like I said, mostly I'm going to eat this soup, but my friends come over that are going to have some. They don't especially mind my cooties too much, so they should be all right. But if you're cooking it for other people other than your family or something like that, you do what makes sense to you. Actually, since my fingers are already in it, I'm mostly doing this just for, presentation and to show y'all. I might just shred a little bit in my hand and just toss them in here. So I'm just putting some in the soup. Like I said, it's very easy to just leave this vegetarian and just not put any meat in it. But if you want something a little more hearty, you can add chicken to it. And I'll probably add some more to garnish at the end so you can see what it looks, because the one of the pluses is a meal like this is the presentation, or the power of the presentation is really what makes it look like you did something when you really didn't. So depending on how you plate it or you offer it to your guests, then it can look a little more fancy. So I stirred that up. So far, I'm going to pick up the laptop so you can see what she's giving. Cover the chicken up so we don't have any mishaps. So if you look there, ignore some of the messy parts of my kitchen and the bluey placemat that's in the sink. You already saw I do have a little one. But so far, it looks kind of like this, just kind of like a slightly creamy tomato soup with some deliciousness in it. You got some of the meat, you got some of the tomatoes and chile. And then where the magic happens, especially if you're going to do semi-homemade, you need to at least do what I call Zatarain it a little bit. And what I mean by Zatarain is when you go to your magical seasoning cabinet, which I probably have too many things, but you can never have enough seasoning. And you want to add a little bit, some of this, some of that, to zhuzh it up a little bit. So garlic usually goes in everything. This is a Trader Joe's special little 21 seasoning salute. I'm feeling really brave right now because I really opened the seasoning cabinet with the crock pot open as if something wouldn't take a nosedive and jump right in there. We're going to cover that with the lid and put the towel over it so that if something falls out of here, it doesn't crack the crock pot lid, because nobody needs those problems. So I'm going to do like a little bit of garlic, a little bit of this 21 seasoning. I'll toss a little Montreal chicken in there just because, there's chicken in the soup. And then maybe I'll put some of this like buttery garlic and herb one. I'll keep it simple in case, like I said, the kid wants to try some. So I'm going to close that up. Again, with the spirit of the ancestors or whatever makes the most sense for you and your family. You just season it to your heart's content. I'll grab some black pepper too to put in there. And I don't really think this dish needs salt per se. And actually, salt is one of those ingredients in 21 Seasoning Salute. For those who can't cook, haven't cooked much, always make sure to check your seasonings. Some people don't realize, they're like, there's not a lot of salt in it, but what did you season it with? A lot of these soft seasoning blends will have salt in them. Actually, as I'm looking at it, though, this one might not. This has onions, black pepper, celery seed, cayenne pepper, parsley, basil, I never know how to say this, marjoram, bay leaf, oregano, thyme, rosemary, cumin, mustard, coriander, garlic, carrot, orange peel, tomato, lemon juice, and other citric acids. So we put a little of that in there. Sounds like that doesn't have salt in it. But this Montreal chicken seasoning, I'm 99.9% sure does. Second ingredient, garlic and salt. So we're just going to put a little bit of that in there, though, because, a little salt never hurt anybody. Well, except for when it does. Hypertension is real. And then we're going to sprinkle some of this and some of that. I'm trying not to get nervous, if you can't tell, because I'm like, presumably, there's people in here watching me. And so I'm just pretending like I'm just talking to this camera and Miss Jessie, who I already saw. But other than that, I can't see y'all. So I'm just acting like, just by myself in my kitchen talking to myself, which is not an unfamiliar occurrence. So stir that up. Let this flavors marry together. And of course, for something like this, the longer it sits and the flavors get to know each other and hang out in the pot, the more flavor you're going to get. Oh, I didn't do a sprinkle of this. Have that buttery blend. And then also, I forgot about this one. This is one of my favorite Trader Joe's seasonings. It's like one of the newer one. It's the garlicky spicy blend. I'm going to put a little touch of that too. And I believe there's salt in this too. So I'll use it sparingly. Again, because I don't want to make it too spicy. Convince the kids to try some. Speaking of the quick pause for motherhood again, so I can flip this grilled cheese sandwich over. And that should be ready for her soon. Hold on. Miss Jessie, let me know if the air fryer is too loud. Doesn't sound that loud to me. What is loud is when that air fryer beeps. And I feel like it's judging me late at night when I want to heat up a snack. All loud, trying to tell the whole house she eating again, y'all. So disrespectful. I'll give that another stir because it makes me feel like I'm doing something, even though I'm not. And it's up on high, so it should get warm pretty fast. And even if it doesn't, I'm just plating it up for garnish to show y'all when it's done. It could be lukewarm. I'll heat it up in the microwave to eat the rest of it. So that's going. I need to take the grilled cheese sandwich out for the kid. Maybe I'll put like a little slice of it when I plate mine so you can see the possibilities, because again, this is a good meal that can go with a grilled cheese sandwich, who doesn't like grilled cheese and like a tomato-based soup, and especially on a nice chilly fall evening like this. And then once this is done and you plate it up, one of the things I was saying the magic is in the garnish. So you would garnish this, or at least I would, similarly to how you garnish a baked potato. So I might put a little dollop of daisy. No product placement. They're not paying me, but they should. Then also you can do a little razzle dazzle of cheese. I sometimes will, of course, buy the block cheese and shred it myself. It is Thursday night. We're not standing on ceremony. This bag cheese will do just fine. And then the one especially thing that I wanted to put in it that I can't find are the scallions, because then you put a little fresh vegetable on it. Really looks like you did something. So hold on a second. As my auntie Tab would say, hold your mule. Let me look in the fridge to see if I can make these things materialize, because sometimes I need a second pair of eyes. I'm probably looking right past them. They're right in front of my face. Hold up. Yep. They were. As my mama would say, if it was a snake, it would have bit me. It was right there laying on top of the egg. So what we can do as part of our cooking show, as it's supposed to be, or I guess talent cooking, I don't know what you call it, but I was just like, I usually tell people, I don't know if I have a lot of talents. I'm a smart lady. I don't shy away from saying that. So I have some sense. I raised a pretty good kid, at least so far. At least I'm keeping her alive. And she's only 5. We'll see how she turns out. I think pretty great. We'll see. But like sometimes I'm like, what talents do I really have that I could show off? Well, I know I could cook. So, I've been doing that for years. And I think it's one of those things where I don't remember ever consciously learning how to cook. I'm just rinsing the scallions. I just was like, I would watch my mom do stuff in the kitchen. It's just one of those things. It's like, well, if you like eating, sometimes that naturally manifests into learning how to make good food because you want to make it the way you like, the way you like it. So sometimes it's just like, if I don't want to be disappointed with how something turns out, I just make it myself. Because I don't know about y'all, but for me, ain't nothing worse than going to a restaurant and eating something and paying money for it when I know I could have made it better at home. It makes me so angry. So then I learned how to make things myself. So I'm just patting these scallions dry just to make them a little more easy to work with. I do use too much paper towel when I am cooking. That's a thing. I need to work on that because paper towels cost a gajillion dollars like everything else, but bear with me. It's also one of those ways I keep from putting fingers in my mouth and tasting things as I go, which I don't want to do on camera with y'all so you won't judge me. But, and again, because I'm probably feeding some of this to someone else, and so I try to not do that when I'm cooking. Another hack for that I learned mostly when I was trying like not to eat when I'm cooking is to chew gum while you're cooking, because or if you already have gum in your mouth, it's harder to eat when you're doing that. So let me grab a cutting board. Oh. One last pause for the moment for motherhood. So I almost forgot about the child's grilled cheese sandwich. So we'll use the cutting board for that first. Yeah. This knife has chicken on it, but should be all right. She's not vegetarian, so we're going to use this to cut the crust off really quick because that's the thing for my little one. She's not a big fan of the crust. Ooh, ow, burn the fingers. That was hotter than I thought it was going to be. So that means we should let it cool off for the little one. I appreciate y'all working with me as I do mommy things too, but that's what life is usually like in this kitchen anyway. I'm trying to parent and do things at the same time. You know what irks me about cutting the crust off of sandwiches? It makes the sandwich so much smaller. And this child gonna look at me like she's still hungry, like I didn't feed her. But it's like you didn't eat the whole sandwich. But whatever. That's how she likes it. I like to make it so that she will eat things in this house within reason, because I don't like getting into power struggles about things about food. Do you want chippies with us, babe?
Uh-huh.
Okay, can you go get them from off the bench?
I thought I fine.
Thank you, child. Go get them. No, they're in the bench where your socks are. Go. Another life hack that I've learned / parenting hack. I don't know if you just heard me tell the child to go get her socks from go get the chips from the bench where she keeps her socks. I usually keep all our socks downstairs because then we just put them on before we leave the house because we don't leave our shoes in the house. So I was like, instead of taking them upstairs and having a whole drawer for socks when we just put them on before we leave the house, I just leave them downstairs. And another way the child helped me out, and this was purely a her thing, she just decided she likes to wear mismatched socks. So now when I do socks and do laundry, I don't have to bunch them together. It's fantastic. Anything to save a little more time. And that's really also what a meal like this is, something to help you save time. Because we already all have 11 other things to do. Anything that makes things a little easier. Put them on the bench right there, babe. I have a sharp knife in my hand, too. Anything to save some time, make things a little easier. It's okay by me. Should bring that back. I gotta put chips on the plate.
Can I take a little bite?
Yes, you may. So I'm just chopping the scallions, nothing special. Just kind of like give them a rough chop because it's really just the garnish on top. Hopefully I'm making this stuff clear. I think it's pretty easy, but I also tend to talk kind of fast, so let me know. Here we go. And we're doing just a quick pause so I can give the child some chips to go with her sandwich. And again, like I said, it may be 8:30, but this is actually round 2 for her because she had another one before she got in the tub. So you should be getting full. Besides, come here, Shug. What do you usually say? Come here. So after come here. Tell the people. So after this, you'll be full, right? And done eating?
What do I say?
So are you going to be full after this, or do you want dessert? What do you
You
just,
know I'm never full for dessert, silly.
did you hear that? She said she's never full for dessert. I like that energy. Go.
I said it again.
Okay, here, take your plate. Get some water if you need something to drink. No more juice. No more juice tonight. But you come back for water if you need some. Okay. So I have my scallions chopped up that I'm really glad I found. Have the cheese right here. Have the sour cream, a little dollop of daisy. I almost feel like I'm missing something, but I think that's it. It's honestly like a really simple thing. So, well, let me show you how to plate it to make it look fancy. So, take like a nice bowl like this, like one of those shallow saucer dishes. And I'm going to take my ladle. And really the ladle is good for just serving soup to help serve it faster, but also less likely that you'll mess up the sides of the bowl. Because to plate it and you make it look fancy, you have to not get anything on the edges. That's what they usually do at the fancy restaurants. They plate it and then they'll wipe around the plate to make sure it looks really clean. So I got some of the delicious soup, which is pretty hot already. And just ladle that right into the middle. Let's actually see how hot it is. See if I'm lying to myself about it being warm or not. So what I sometimes do is I keep the main spoon to stir with, and then I might have like a tasting spoon. I just go like that and serve myself a little portion onto my tasting spoon. It's actually pretty warm. And that stays, will stay my tasting spoon off to the side for the duration of when I'm cooking. So I need another spoon for the sour cream. This will be my fresh clean one for my big container of Daisy that I just got from BJ's. I know. Don't judge me. I got my BJ's membership last year before everybody decided that they were on the list of the evil capitalists that we weren't supposed to espouse or shop at. So waste not, want not. I'm going to use that membership until it runs out in February. So we'll put a dollop of Daisy on this. I'm going to garnish it. Yes, child, can I help you?
As soon as you're finished with that, can you come and sit with me?
Yeah, I'll come and hang out with you. I'm going to garnish it with some sour cream. Some cheese too. Oops. This one for me. And then I'm also going to take some scallions. That makes it healthy. And like I said, I feel like I'm forgetting something. I did forget to put pepper in it. But this is one of those things that's in the crock pot. You can add more to it. You can add and season it as you go. Whatever floats your boat. Now look at this. Doesn't it look fancy? Doesn't it look like I did something when I really didn't do that much? But the presentation, sorry, these emojis are in my way. The presentation is what really matters. If somebody served this to you in a restaurant, you'd pay like $10 for that bowl of soup. It kind of almost looks like a chili if you look at it right here, but it's definitely a very tomato soup. So I could take one of the crusts that I broke off for the kid, or that I cut off. That's dinner right there. Easy peasy. I'm really glad I'm having another bite. So I didn't eat yet. Okay. And set that to the side for me to enjoy. Now, a piece of stray chicken. Now, I think I have more time that I could use for my segment. So I was going to tell folks about how to do the emergency pho, which also is a thing I can't take credit for because I got that idea off of YouTube Shorts, which is where I get a lot of my little cooking ideas from. So I could pull out some of the ingredients for that. that you use, you basically will go to your local Asian market. Well, first you want to start with the rotisserie chicken. If I remember correctly off the top of my head, you basically just need an onion, like a spice bag for pho, which you can get for the Asian market. The really thin noodles. And the rock sugar, rock salt sugar or something like that. And that's pretty much it. And you just let it cook in a pot, and you will have soup in like, a little while. I think maybe there's some celery in it. I don't know. I'd be happy to share the recipe another time, or maybe do that for my next cooking segment. But that's another thing that's super easy. You can use rotisserie chicken for so many different things. Very versatile. So, but I think that's all I have, unless I don't know if I can have some guidance from the host on if you want me to grab some of the other ingredients to fill a little time, but that's basically it. This meal is super fast. From the time I started rambling at y'all about this to now, probably took a little less than 30 minutes. So if I wasn't in here talking, you can be sitting down eating this in about 15 minutes, give or take how long it takes to do in the crock pot. Come here, shit. And or
did you know what I wanted?
Because you always want hugs from mommy, and I always want hugs from you. You can be ready to eat this super fast and be sitting down to a good meal. Fake tears. So it's definitely something I would recommend. 10 out of 10 recommend. It's just a tasty, easy meal. So I would love to hear if people end up trying it. Hopefully people will drop comments or whatever, give feedback on if you try it or if you try something different. But yeah, it's great. Protein, veggies, technically fruit, I guess, since tomatoes are fruit. And have between the salsa and the green onions, it adds a lot of flavor. So do this for your next easy potluck or something like that. When you want to give some people a little something, but you don't want to put in too much effort or don't have time to put in too much effort, or you don't want to spend a gajillion dollars. Because I think that $5 rotisserie chicken that you can use for various different things was the most expensive thing to put this meal together. So I would say this is a winner. I was looking at the comment.
Ooh, now I'm hungry.
I am too, because you see how I'm like, I'm going to eat this now with y'all on the camera. I was like, I don't care, I'm hungry.
So Jenna, what did I know the jar you mentioned what it was?
Yes.
Was it from Trader Joe's?
Yes, and I'm happy to send pictures or post something, but it's a tomato-less. It's actually corn and chile. It says is the primary thing, but under it, it says tomato-less salsa. So there's no actual tomato in this. It's just the corn and the chilies. That's what makes it so spicy. Like if you use the whole, like I'm sniffling right now because as I started to eat it, the spice starts to come out as you're eating it. And then you can use any of the kind. I think they have like 3 different kinds of like tomato soup at Trader Joe's. But I usually grab the low sodium because I'm not prone to high blood pressure, which is really nice. But my ankles swell, especially when it's hot. So I try to do low sodium if I can. Or like if I'm on my feet a lot, those ankles get to swelling, and we don't want cankles out here in these streets. And then you could put whatever type of garnishes and stuff that you want. Whatever, you could probably throw some bacon on top of here. Whatever makes the most sense to you. You could probably even make it more like a taco bowl and do like ground beef.
So the chicken's only $5 for the rotisserie chicken?
At most of the big box stores. Because the disrespect I have felt looking at Whole Foods rotisserie chickens, that I think are like $13 or something crazy. BJ's and Costco are both $5 for like the basic. Like BJ's is like Wellesley Farms, their version of the chicken. Get a whole rotisserie chicken, $5. You can't beat that in this economy. But I think we all know that's why they put the chickens all the way in the back of the store. They do that on purpose because they want you to walk through all the other stuff and buy other things on your way to the $5 chicken. And that's why you also cannot add the rotisserie chicken to your drive-up order. Because one of my things is to save money and to save my knees from walking around the store. I'll do a drive-up order because I'm slightly less likely to impulse buy, even though I can impulse buy with the best of them on a drive-up order too. But if I go in the store, I'm more likely to see the different things. Like I said, they put it all the way at the back of the store because they want you to walk through all the goodies and spend more money.
Wow.
They want your kids to see stuff, which is how I ended up with a 20 point bag of little bites from the store today. So, they know what they're doing. Little girl, come and get this thing. She brought in a Halloween Mickey Mouse thing in here that's singing and left it in the kitchen. Because children.
Halloween Mickey Mouse. Okay.
Sorry.
Well, thank you so much, Jenna. I'm like, now that I'm hungry and I can't eat that, I can't go through the screen and get anything. That's not right. But
I'll drop a spoonful in the chat for you.
Yeah, right. Okay. That's funny. Look, I'm like, my dinner is meatless and it's broccoli and cauliflower and corn and carrots and rice.
Are we doing all veggies these days, Miss Jessie, or just for tonight?
No. What ended up happening was I was gonna make a Chinese dish, but I messed up the shrimp, so I had to throw it out. It was bad. I left it out too long.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to get sick.
No, I hear that. That's one of the worst things too, when you have something fresh and you don't want it to go bad. That's another thing I like about the rotisserie chicken, because you can also put this joker in the freezer and you don't have to use it for soup or making stock until the next time you want to use it. You could put like whatever little bit of meat is left on it and the rest of the carcass, throw it in a big Ziploc bag, put it in the freezer. And the next time you have a bunch of veggie trimmings or other stuff you want to use to make stock, you could actually use a cooked chicken for stock. And some people actually prefer to do it that way because roasting the whole carcass and then having the flavor in the bones gives the broth a richer, more robust flavor. So they say.
Now, you have all these self-homemade.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Michelle. Again.
You have all these self-homemade diva tips. Do you write it down anywhere?
No, I actually. So the only recipe myself that I've ever written down was the chicken noodle soup recipe that I make, which is a hybrid of a recipe my girlfriend taught me how to make from her family. That she taught me how to make back when we were in college, and I've been making it since then, adjusting it different ways. And so my sister wanted me to write it down so she can make some herself. So I have that recipe. But then other than that, I jokingly, like I said, I'll just let the ancestors guide me. I do some of this, some of that. And I remember I was in the kitchen one Thanksgiving when my sister were cooking, and I was trying to help her make a homemade cornbread from scratch. And I was like, just let your ancestors tell you how to, she was like, you are my ancestors. Tell me how to do it. So I've written that one down, the chicken noodle soup, and then sort of how I do my Thanksgiving turkey.
Oh, okay.
But other than that, just do a little this, a little that. And we're lucky nowadays because we have the TikToks and the YouTube shorts to help us. So if I forget something or if it's something I haven't made in a while, I just do a little clickety clack on my phone and look it up. And I like to mash a lot of recipes together and modify it for what I feel like, or what, like I was saying, what tastes good for my family, or what might be good for somebody that's lower sodium or whatever like that.
So why don't you do a TikTok?
I keep saying I should, because maybe I should make some of this content creator money, but I need to learn how to edit videos. I think that's next on my agenda for self-improvement.
Well, Paul was good with that.
I've been meaning to get with her about that. So
get with her, and because I'm like, I mean, you're very entertaining.
Thank you.
The food looks good, and I definitely, and you're very entertaining, and so it was good. It felt like it's not, doesn't feel like you're being, you said you're nervous, but you're nervous good.
Thank